Hi guys, and welcome to another Transfer Roundup episode. It's episode 2. In the first episode we looked at Haaland, Nunes, Gabriel Jesus and Mane, along with a few other players. And it was all about seeing how we think they're going to improve the teams they're going to, and how we think they'll do, in general. Do we think they will be a missing piece for a Champions League like Haaland? Do we think they might struggle to hit the ground running? And, we just took a look at everything like that and assessed what we think of the transfer. Now, this is episode 2. There's more players to discuss. And if I don't discuss the players you want me to in this episode, make sure to get in the comments and ask me about some transfers that you want me to talk about. And I'll give my opinions on those in the next episodes. But without further ado, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Let's get into our first player. And to start off with, a Premier League winner has moved to a rival. Raheem Sterling has moved to Chelsea. £47.5 million is the reported total. And for a 27-year-old that has plenty of experience in the Premier League, and over the last 5 seasons, he's hit double figures in each Premier League season. So I think that's a good deal. I think Sterling massively improves this Chelsea attack, because Chelsea's attack has been a bit weak over the past few years. They've always seemed to have a better defence than they do attack. They needed to get some attacking players in. I think Sterling fits the mould. One thing about Sterling that does frustrate a lot of people is his indecisiveness in the final third. Sometimes he tends to not make the right decision. He'll hold onto the ball for too long. But I think he's going to be very good here, because a good thing about Sterling's game is he always seems to be in the right place at the right time. His positioning is very strong, and that's why he scores as many goals as he does. If you remember a few seasons ago with Aguero and Sane and Sterling as the front three, Sterling was scoring so many goals, and it always seemed to be from, just taking that chance in the box when a ball comes across the face of goal. He would always be the player to take the chance, and he always reaped the rewards by scoring the goal. So I think this is a very good deal for Chelsea. I think it weakens Man City's depth. Sterling didn't really seem to be a main starter anymore, but I think it does make their squad weaker. But then again, Man City are going out and signing players, so I think this is a very good deal for Chelsea. I think they'll be very happy with it, and I think he definitely improves their team. So very good deal here. Let's get on to the next player. And sticking with Chelsea, there's a new defender in town. Koulibaly joins from Napoli for a reported fee of £33 million. He's 31 years old as a centre-back. He's got plenty of experience, but he's definitely not past it yet. He's signed to a 4-year contract, so, they definitely see a lot more to come from him. And it's a big name that's always been linked with a move to the Premier League, but it's never really happened. And it's finally happened now. Under Chelsea's new ownership, they're starting to get some players in that maybe over the past few seasons they wouldn't have got in. But it's interesting to see. Koulibaly, I think he brings a lot to this defence. Now, their defence has already been ravaged from not being able to sign players to contracts, because Rudiger and Christensen both left on frees. Rudiger was obviously a vital part of the defence last season. Christensen played his fair share of games too. So they've really only got Thiago Silva as like a main centre-back, and then it's Chalobah, Sarr, there's probably a few others, but like youth defenders that are sort of just coming through, but they're very young still. So for me, adding Koulibaly to Thiago Silva at the back is going to be a very good defensive partnership. Whether that makes Tuchel go to a back 4 because he can trust these two centre-backs, or whether he sticks with the 5 at the back, who knows. That seems to be his system that he likes, but he might he might change it around. But they are looking at other centre-backs as well. So it makes me think 5 at the back is what they're going to go with. Koulibaly, he is very good tackler of the ball. Good at winning the ball, which you'd hope from a defender. He can step out and go on a little run. So he's very progressive. He is good at playing out from the back. He's a good passer. I think he got 3 assists last season in Serie A, which is, good for a centre-back to be getting 3 assists in a season. And he's very dominant in both boxes. So you're looking at a player that's going to be winning a lot of headers, whether defensive or, from corners in attack. So I think he's a very useful player to have, because Thiago Silva is good in the air, but he is obviously a bit smaller. Koulibaly is going to be your sort of defensive enforcer, your big guy that's going to get into people. And one thing I have seen is he's not very disciplined. He does pick up quite a few yellow cards. Sort of feels like Rudiger. I feel like Rudiger did do that. I haven't looked at the stats for that, but I feel like he would be a player that would pick up quite a few yellow cards, just putting a foot in and asserting dominance. So I think that's what Koulibaly is going to do for this defence. So for me, another good signing from Chelsea. I was a bit worried about them because they hadn't done any business as of yet. But Sterling and Koulibaly through the door, very good start to Chelsea's transfer business this summer. Let's get on to our next player. Staying in London, but going to North London, Spurs have acquired Yves Bissouma for £25 million up front for the 25-year-old. That is a brilliant, brilliant deal. Could be one of the, bargains of the summer, really, because a 25-year-old midfielder, he's got plenty more to offer. He has been one of the best midfielders in the league outside the Big Six for the last few seasons. Definitely one of the best. And I think it was only a matter of time before he got this big move to a team that's fighting for trophies. No offence to Brighton, I think they've done a brilliant job. Graham Potter's done a brilliant job there, but I can't see them picking up silverware anytime soon. Bissouma was always going to get this sort of move at some point, and it's Spurs that have acted on it. So what are Spurs and Antonio Conte getting? They're getting a midfielder who is great at winning the ball. He's a very good passer as well. He can strike from distance. We've seen that with Brighton. So he is a very well-rounded midfielder. He can do a lot of different stuff. He does the hard yards, he gets back, but he can also get forward, release attacking passes, create chances, and those strikes from distance can catch people by surprise. Now this Spurs midfield is really starting to strengthen, as is the whole team, but having 3 options in that midfield of Bissouma, Højbjerg and Bentancur, there's some very solid options. I'm imagining Bissouma and Højbjerg are going to be the starters, and that is going to be a difficult midfield to get past. They are going to be very, very good at tackling. I think their turnover numbers are going to be very, very high. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how he fits in, but I have no worries at all. I think this is one of the best pieces of business this transfer window. Bissouma moving to Spurs, what a brilliant signing. And sticking with Spurs again, they've managed to sign the man who kept Everton in the Premier League last season. Richarlison, £60 million deal. I believe that's up front and then there's add-ons included as well. 25 years old, so he has his best years ahead of him. And last season for Everton, 15 goal involvements in 30 games. That is massive. A goal involvement every 2 games in a very weak Everton side without Calvert-Lewin. He was their talisman and he kept them up. And in 3 of his 4 seasons with Everton, he has managed to hit double figures, which in that team is a very good achievement. And I think he brings a lot to the table because he obviously can shoot, he runs in the channels and he can create space, but then also he can get back, defend, He can do the link-up play. He gets in people's faces. He's a character, which is quite good in a striker to see, because I don't like it when, your striker is just like a robot. Richarlison, he expresses his feelings on the pitch, and he is really going to be fighting for a first team place. That's my one issue with this deal. £60 million for someone who doesn't really look like they're going to fit in as a starter. He's obviously got plenty of time to prove he can be a starter, but I'm not sure if he is going to be for depth or starting. Kane and Son do not move out of this starting lineup. They are obviously the two first names on the team sheet. Then Kulusevski had a very good season last season. The second half, he came in January on loan, absolutely smashed it. They've got him on loan again, and then they're going to more than likely buy him at the end of the season. If he hits the form that he had last season, then Kulusevski is going to do very well here. And one thing we know is Conte likes a back five system. So what is this going to mean for Richarlison? Because if they're playing five at the back, they've only got five other outfielders, two of them are going to be centre mids. You've only got space for three attackers, and as I said, Son and Kane are there, and Kulusevski, after his brilliant performances last season, it would be very harsh not to include him. Which makes me think Richarlison's a backup, but he's obviously got the potential to shake things up and become a main fixture in this Spurs team, which is what I like. It's going to make him hungry to prove himself. I think he's already such a good player, such an exciting character, and he's got his best years ahead of him. So for me, although it does look like a bit of a pricey deal at the moment, I think it's only a matter of time before Richarlison stamps his name on this first team sheet and, really takes this Tottenham team to another level. So again, for me, a good piece of business, and it's a player with plenty of years ahead of him, so I'm sure he'll manage to pay that transfer fee off. Very good signing again from Spurs. And speaking of Brazilians that kept their teams in the Premier League last season, Rafinha has moved to Barcelona, reported £50 million fee, up from for the 25-year-old. So again, 25 like Richarlison, he's got his best years ahead of him, and he did really, really well over the past few seasons. But last season, he was their talisman. Bamford was out. Rafinha really had to take the weight of the team on him. 11 goals in 35 appearances is a very, very good return for someone who's playing as a right midfielder in a weak, thin Leeds squad. Rafinha, really, really impressive. He brings a lot more to the table other than just his goal involvements, because he is, great at creating chances. He's a good dead ball specialist. He, can take players on for fun. He's a brilliant dribbler. And he always really works hard. And you can really see that because his dream has been to play for Barcelona. And he really wanted it. He was linked with them. He was linked with a big move away. Now, for a lot of players, when you're the main player at your team and you're already thinking of the summer and want to move on, your head might drop, you might down tools. Rafinha, perfect example of someone with a brilliant, brilliant attitude towards football, because he could have just, lost it a bit. He carried on, he kept going, he kept Leeds up, he gave his all to keep this Leeds side in the Premier League. And I think a lot of Leeds fans have, that I've seen, have really said that about him. They've really thanked him for what he did to keep them in the Premier League. And they said, fair play, go and live your dream, go and move on and do great things. And I think this is a brilliant, brilliant deal. Barcelona's attack is stacked, and Rafinha is going to fit in brilliantly. Yeah, I really love this deal, and I hope it goes well, because he seems like a really great character and a great professional towards the game. And I did really like watching him when he was in the Premier League. So yeah, this for me, brilliant move for Barcelona. Not sure where they're getting the money from. But yeah, very good move, top signing. Let's stick with Barcelona as we move on to our next player. I think you all know what player I'm talking about when I talk about Barcelona here. Robert Lewandowski has moved from Bayern Munich to Barcelona. Massive, massive deal this is. Lewandowski has been brilliant, just truly brilliant in the Bundesliga. £40 million, just a little bit over that, for somebody who's 33 doesn't seem like a good deal. But Lewandowski just seems to get better with age. His last 7 seasons, he has scored 20 plus Bundesliga goals, which is brilliant. The last 3 seasons, he's managed to get more goals than games in the league. And in the 20 to 21 season, he scored 41 goals in 29 games in the league. What a brilliant goal record he has. It is ridiculous how good he's been. As well as winning, plenty of trophies with Bayern Munich, he also has a lot of personal accolades. He did manage to break Gerd Muller's very long-standing record in the Bundesliga of 40 goals in a season, and he did that in 29 games, which was just incredible. And then he's also won the UEFA Best Men's Player, the FIFA the Best Men's Player, and he was clearly robbed of a Ballon d'Or when Messi got it ahead of him. I don't know how. That was Lewandowski's season, and they even made an award for him that was like Best Striker of the Season or something like that, because I feel like they knew that he deserved the Ballon d'Or but just didn't give it him for some reason. So that was a little bit dodgy. And maybe he's going to Barcelona to steal it out of the trophy cabinet. Who knows? But this deal seems expensive on the face of it. But if Lewandowski can hit the form that he has shown over the last few seasons and keep improving like he has been, then Lewandowski will be an absolute revelation at Barcelona. And it makes their attack, their team even, so strong for this upcoming season that I see silverware. If these players can hit the ground running, I think there's silverware somewhere for Barcelona this season. What a signing, what a massive name to move, and there have been so many big signings this season, it seems. A lot of big names moving about, which I love to see. Barcelona, brilliant move. So, that is it for the second episode of the Transfer Roundup. Let me know in the comments, which one of these players do you think is going to be really good? Do you think any of them are going to struggle at their new sides? Make sure to let me know. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I want to try and hit 150 subscribers by around the middle of August, when the seasons have properly kicked off. So yeah, let's try and get there, and hit the notification bell for all the upcoming content around the Premier League, the Championship, and around Europe. Obviously, we're coming into the start of the season now, so we're going to be getting our 1 to 24 Championship video out sometime soon. So make sure to stick around for that. It's going to be exciting. I don't know where I'm putting anyone yet, because the transfer window is still going to be open for another month. So that's going to be a very difficult thing to try and sort out. But make sure to put in the comments any players you want me to look at in my next Transfer Roundup episode.